Hulk, once a powerhouse of the Marvel brand, has since been reduced to an absolute joke. Before the MCU, he was on par with the likes of Wolverine and Spider-Man in terms of popularity. However, that all changed when the MCU came around. What was once lauded as something new and fresh with a knack for giving the spotlight to smaller characters has since become something completely divisive. The reasons for that were getting rid of beloved characters, lack of any sort of nuance or focus, and lastly, turning their heavy hitters into jokes. I've touched on Thor before, but today I want to discuss the Hulk. Phase 1 of the MCU started with Iron Man, but was very shortly followed by the Incredible Hulk, which brings us to our first major issue. Incredible Hulk was not only poorly received, but the rights weren't even with Marvel Studios. This meant that after the failure of Incredible Hulk, he was never given another solo movie in the MCU again. However, after the stinker that was Incredible Hulk, Avengers seemed to be a good direction for Marvel to go with the character. For starters, I feel Ruffalo did a great job with the more underspoken yet intelligent side of Banner. The moment he talks about his attempt at shooting himself only for Hulk to spit the bullet back out is genuinely one of my favorite scenes from the movie, with Ruffalo putting in an amazing performance. Now for the Hulk, as he was shown to be an unstoppable monster and at times a downright horror movie monster. Him chasing Black Widow on the underside of the helicarrier is incredibly intense and exactly what I want out of a Hulk scene. However, there is one thing I don't like about Hulk in this movie, and it's an overarching issue that I will touch on later. Banner is able to summon the Hulk at will late in this movie, which kind of goes against the rest of the film and Incredible Hulk. But again, save that for later. Avengers Age of Ultron is his next appearance, and already there's a major issue with his character. For starters, remember how I said Banner summoned the Hulk at the end of Avengers? Well, apparently he can't do that anymore, and his strength has been nerfed into oblivion. When Wanda takes control of his mind and he goes berserk, Tony is able to subdue him with the Hulk Buster in a frankly embarrassing scene. I know they have a decent back and forth before then, but when he has Hulk pinned down constantly smashing his face while cracking jokes, it's hard to take the Hulk seriously. That becomes especially apparent how he was treated in Avengers 2012, where he went berserk and basically was destroying everything. And of course, his relationship with Black Widow straight up doesn't work. I know it's been talked about to death, but despite their best efforts, Ruffalo and Scarlet cannot make those scenes between Hulk and Black Widow good or natural in any way. Hulk ends up leaving on a spaceship at the end of this movie, so maybe, just maybe, the next movie can redeem Hulk's character a slight bit after this mess. It's been a while since I've seen Ragnarok, but I do remember genuinely enjoying Hulk's character in this movie, but not for the same reasons as Avengers. He's played a lot more for comedy in this movie. He's lost all of his intimidation factor at this point to me. He wasn't able to defeat Thor without any interference, and then he acts like a man-child for the rest of the movie. I feel I wouldn't mind this as much if they didn't throw out the Planet Hulk story in this film, because let's face it, whether this was your favorite Thor movie or your favorite version of the Hulk in the MCU, they completely butchered the Planet Hulk storyline and all of the characters to come out of it, namely Korg. But that's a video for another time. Infinity War and Endgame are the killing blow on Hulk's reputation. In the first 5 minutes of Infinity War, Thanos decimates Hulk in seconds, and that is literally the last time we ever see the proper Hulk in the MCU. There's some deleted scenes, like the one in Infinity War where Hulk rips out of the Hulk Buster and starts destroying goons, but for all intents and purposes, that's literally it. Endgame fuses the two together to create Smart Hulk, who is just so bad. Smart Hulk was not earned in the MCU. There was nothing building to it. And the final thing I want to mention about Hulk in these two movies is the other Hulk scene that was deleted, where Banner and Hulk have a heart-to-heart. This scene was pretty good and could have helped soften the blow of how awful Smart Hulk was, but unfortunately, once again, another great Hulk scene deleted by the Russos. Phase 4 had one appearance in the worst received MCU project to date, being She-Hulk. I personally haven't finished it, but what little I saw of it, I was once again left unbelievably disappointed with their depiction of the Hulk and the downplaying of his trauma. Now, about that issue I was teasing earlier, Hulk literally has a reverse character arc in the MCU. In the Incredible Hulk, Banner is not able to control the Hulk. However, in Avengers, he's able to just summon the Hulk towards the end of the movie for an admittedly cool scene, but one that just doesn't make any sense. Then, in Age of Ultron and Thor Ragnarok, it is once again shown that Banner and Hulk have no synchronization between each other, which leads to him in Age of Ultron leaving the planet and ultimately ending up where and how he does in Ragnarok. Lastly, in Infinity War, Hulk is wrecked in 2 seconds, leaving Banner unable to summon him, which, keep in mind, he hasn't been able to do to this point anyways, before finally off-screen becoming Smart Hulk, because apparently they patched things up. This arc is unbelievably sloppy and undermines what should have been an incredibly compelling character arc that unfolded over years of build-up, but I guess the Russos had another thing in mind. However, that brings us to where we are today. Hulk is no longer lauded as one of Marvel's greats. He's now just seen as a massive joke. It's truly a shame as well, because I feel that Bruce Banner and Hulk are such good and interesting characters. The MCU has always been praised for bringing Marvel and its characters in a mainstream spotlight, but for every Iron Man, Captain America, or the Guardians of the Galaxy, you get a Hulk, a Captain Marvel, or a She-Hulk. Here's to hoping that whatever lies in Marvel and Hulk's future can bring him back to the absolute beast he once was, instead of the laughingstock he has unfortunately become.